Thank you all for taking some time to connect today. I'm here to talk about the Child and Adult Care Food Program, and the session is aimed at folks who are already participating in the program. We're going to discuss some different ways to really make sure you're getting the most of your participation in the program. My name is Kayla. I work with Hunger Solutions New York. I am a CACFP outreach and engagement specialist. So I conduct outreach across the state to really help folks understand what it looks like to participate in CACFP as well as the benefits. I am joined today by Anna Rahim. Anna, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, yes. I am a group family childcare provider. I have been open for 10 years. Um, I have been participating in CACFP for all of those 10 years, and two Quality Stars I've been in for about a couple of years. So definitely know some things about CACFP. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Anna. So with our outreach grant that we have through OCFS, we have piloted in the last year a CACFP ambassador program. So Anna was selected among a pool of 60 plus applicants. We have 10 different CACFP ambassadors who really help us get the word out about CACFP. They talk with their peers and really help inform our knowledge on the child and adult care food program as well. So very happy to have Anna here and very happy to have this partnership with Quality Stars New York to really connect with you all about the importance and ways you can sort of maximize your participation in this program. So today's agenda, I will give a brief background about my organization, Hunger Solutions New York. I'll touch a little bit upon child hunger in New York State. We'll talk about different ways you can get the most out of CACFP. We'll review some farm to CACFP information. We'll talk about family style meals, and we'll talk about the importance of connecting with your representatives as well. At the end, there will be time for Q&A, and then I have some additional resources for you as well. As I mentioned, this session is being recorded, and I will send out all the materials to Quality Stars New York and additional slides and information as well. So no need to worry about that. Very good. So Hunger Solutions New York is a statewide nonprofit organization. We work across the state to expand awareness of and increase support for the federal nutrition programs. That includes the Child and Adult Care Food Program, as well as the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, which is SNAP, WIC, the School Breakfast Program, the Community Eligibility Program, and Summer Food Service Program, as well as Summer EBT, which is a new program that has taken effect in the last couple of years. So how do we help? Our organization offers technical assistance to providers or different organizations to really help them understand the benefits of participating in these programs. We work with schools oftentimes to make sure that the families that they're serving have access to not only school meals, but also SNAP or WIC, should those families be eligible. So in addition to technical assistance, we also share resources, information, and best practices around all the nutrition programs to providers, organizations, and other programs to really meet people and make sure that they understand these programs. And then lastly, we are a statewide organization, and we do engage in some federal and state level advocacy to really help representatives understand these programs and the really positive impact that they make on our communities. So we know from the communities that we serve that food insecurity is not something that is happening only in one community, right? We see it in many of our communities. And food insecurity is defined as a lack of consistent and dependable access to nutritious foods that people need to enjoy an active and healthy lifestyle. You know, you see these kiddos in your programs throughout the day. And, you know, sometimes kids are going to school during the day and the only nutrition that they're getting is the meals that they're getting in your programs. So it's really important that you are connected with CACFP and you're getting the support around this nutrition and really making sure that the kids in your care are getting that nutrition to support their overall well-being. And in New York State, about 1 in 5 kids are food insecure. So, consequences of food insecurity, we know it's very hard to learn when you haven't had breakfast that day, right? It can be hard to sit and pay attention in school if your tummy is grumbly. So it can impede our physical development, but also it can impact our social, emotional, and cognitive development, which we know is very important during these critical years. And we know that food insecurity can contribute to poor health outcomes long term. So you're all here because I'm assuming you participate in the Child and Adult Care Food Program. So you should be very familiar with what that program entails and how it operates. But just to level set, in the United States, the CACFP is funded through the United States Department of Agriculture. And from there, each state will administer the CACFP program. So in New York State, the program is administered by the New York State Department of Health. And we know that CACFP is underutilized across the nation, but also underutilized in New York State as well. It's still pretty well utilized in New York State, I will say. As you can see, this data is from 2022, but centers in 2022 served an average of more than 4 million meals each month to the children in their care. And home-based childcare providers served an average of nearly 3 million meals to the children in their care. So we see a pretty significant amount of folks engaging with this program and requesting reimbursement through this program to feed the kids in their care. There are many benefits to CACFP, as I'm sure you all know. It can help with developing those lifelong healthy eating habits. It helps with that nutrition security aspect. It can help offset the costs of food for not only you as providers, but also the families that you serve. And then, you don't have to necessarily raise the prices of tuition for your programs in order to serve that healthy food. So it can help keep the cost of care lower for families as well. And you can access additional trainings and support, whether you work with a sponsor or you work directly with the Department of Health. You can access those additional trainings and support to really get the most of the program. And we know, you all know as Quality Stars New York participants, that engaging with CACFP and participating in the program is an indicator of quality care. You should be familiar with the PH4 requirement that providers promote the consumption of meals and snacks to meet the CACFP meal pattern for all the ages that you serve. And so this will be of no news to you. You all know how it works. You serve the meals that are compliant with the CACFP meal patterns. You'll track how many meals are served, and you'll request reimbursement on a monthly basis. And then reimbursement is given back to you on a per meal and snack reimbursement. So CACFP will reimburse up to 1 meal and 2 snacks per day, or 2 snacks and 1 meal per day. I want to talk a little bit about farm to early care and CACFP. It's not something that is like super robust in the state of New York right now, but there are different initiatives that have taken off in the past, as well as throughout the country. So something exciting, every couple of years, USDA offers a funding opportunity to school programs to really help connect schools with locally grown produce. And for the first time ever, this funding opportunity is being expanded to also include childcare centers, which is very exciting. So they'll be offering, the funding opportunity is out right now, and states are expected to have all of their information into the USDA for April. So the most news I have about this is that we will expect more news to come as time goes on. There is a farm and early care network who is closely monitoring this. And so we will share any information as it becomes available. But there's quite a bit of money set aside specifically for childcare providers that are participating in CACFP, whether that will go directly to centers themselves or homes through their local sponsors, these funds will be able to be accessed by all participants who participate in CACFP that provide childcare.
Kayla, just a clarification, there's nothing for programs to do regarding this. It's just waiting for the state to hopefully receive the money, and then that will disseminate down to information going to the programs.
Exactly,
Great.
exactly. More to come. But I think I wanted to mention it's a very exciting opportunity because for the first time, this money is being also offered to CACFP participants. And I'll talk a little bit more about farm to early care and CACFP. There's a lot of programs around the state who are already engaging in different farm to CACFP activities. So even if you're not getting maybe funds to support that, there are various ways you can engage in those farm to CACFP activities that really makes learning fun and trying new foods really exciting for the kids in your care. So a little bit more about farm to early care and CACFP. Some really great resources if you're looking to start out is the National Farm to School Network. They have information obviously for schools, but also early care education programs. And then the Association of State Public Health Nutritionists also has some really great farm to early care information if you're looking to learn more or identify different ways to get started. So what I think is most important about farm to early care and CACFP is that it helps kids learn where their food comes from. I've talked with some providers who kids think that maybe their apples come from Walmart, right? They don't understand that they actually grow on a tree, and that tree sometimes is right in our backyard. So it really helps kids understand where their food comes from and sort of helps them better understand our food systems. It can help support our local farmers and producers. New York State is a huge agricultural state. So there's, a ton of farmers and different opportunities to connect and get local produce that helps support your immediate food system. And sometimes if you are a smaller program that you're maybe able to have an edible garden and you have a surplus of food, that might be a good way to help lower the cost of some of that food if you're able to serve it as part of your meals. There are some core elements of farm to school. It includes that local food procurement, right? So getting local foods either through the grocery store if you're a home provider, or maybe a local food hub if you're a bigger center and you have that buying power. But the basis of local food procurement is really identifying and connecting with local farmers and producers in your community to gather that local produce or those local goods. Gardening is also a big piece of farm to school. You can use gardens, they can be edible gardens. You can use them to teach different lessons in your programs. I've heard some programs who have bigger gardens invite parents to come in and volunteer their time to help maintain the garden. And then sometimes if there's a surplus of goodies, the parents get some of those extra fruits of their labor, so to say. So it really is sort of a win-win for folks involved.
I'm just going to add to that too, Kayla. I know we have some people here from New York City. And so when we talk about gardens, we often think about that, extra land space, and we don't necessarily have that in New York City. But potted gardens and rooftop planters are a huge way to sort of incorporate that natural element into your New York City program, number one. And I have also worked with Head Start programs who do that as a sort of parent engagement conversation. And I'm just going to pick celery. So they were growing celery. The parents actually went out and picked the celery and then went in the kitchen and washed it and made like 3 different dishes with the celery that they were then doing at home with the kids, that the teachers were also doing with the kids at in the classroom. So a nice way to sort of get the parents involved in that as well.
Yes, great example, Kathy. Yeah, you don't have to, start small. I think, we'll talk a little bit more about starting small and setting realistic goals for yourself. You don't have to have a fully profitable garden the first year you start out, and I don't think anyone expects that. And you can incorporate other elements of farm to school too. Maybe it's visiting a local farm or community garden, or conducting a cooking class, or like Kathy mentioned, having the parents come in to harvest that celery and create a snack out of it. I really want some ants on a log now that you mentioned snacks with celery. And so more information about farm to CACFP. CACFP doesn't define what local is. So providers can sort of make that definition for themselves, what makes sense from their specific area. Upstate, it might be a little bit easier to garden, whereas downstate, maybe food hubs are the better spot to get that local produce. I know that many local grocery stores will have locally grown produce offered among their products as well. So providers can really sort of decide what makes sense for them as far as local goes. And then if you are participating in CACFP, you can use your funds to purchase local foods, obviously, from farmers markets or food hubs or grocery stores. But you can also use that money to help help purchase gardening supplies and more. And different activities that programs can engage in include gardening, obviously, composting, making sure that food waste isn't just going in the garbage. You can compost and really help improve the condition of your soil. You can offer cooking lessons or different activities to help get parents involved, help kids test out new foods that they might not be familiar with, and help develop a taste for them. And so, as Kathy mentioned, start small, right? That can be, I think, when you think of something like farm to table, it can be pretty daunting, but it doesn't have to be. You can start small with container gardens or herb gardens and really start to figure out different ways to introduce more local goods into your offerings. Some folks will choose a snack to transition to locally grown items. We know usually at late summer, tomatoes and zucchini are quite abundant. So there's different ideas and different ways to incorporate seasonal goods into your offerings. And I think a big proponent of Farm to CACFP is really connecting with your local producers, your local community. What does your community grow, right? Can you identify any farmers in your community and what products and goods that they offer? It's creating and establishing those relationships and creating long-term relationships too that are really going to help improve and really help you excel at Farm to CACFP. And talk with your peers too. There's folks, family daycare providers, there's centers who are already engaging in aspects of Farm to CACFP, whether they're getting additional funds to do it or not. It's a really great way to really contribute to those long-term healthy eating habits, help kids understand where their food comes from, and it helps support our communities as well. Some additional resources for you. Grow It, Try It, Like It is a great resource for family childcare providers. It's provided by the USDA. I would also recommend connecting with your local sponsor. They might have some ideas of various ways you can connect with your community, whether that's through Cornell Cooperative Extension. They might be able to help you with different gardening supplies or different ideas to help scale up your farm to CACFP garden. And they might be able to put you in touch with another provider who is already engaging in some farm to CACFP activities if you have questions or are just looking for some more peer-to-peer support. If you're a childcare center, I would recommend you connect with the Department of Health about the Eat Well, Play Hard initiative. Some programs are able to get extra support to engage in this initiative, and they become sort of like farm to early care champions. So if you're a center, I would say connect with the Department of Health about that. And then for everyone on the call, I mentioned at the beginning of these slides, the National Farm to School Network is a really good resource to help pool some information about getting started. There's also a fact sheet from the USDA, and then the Association of State Public Health Nutritionists also has some really great information on incorporating more veggies and fruits into your menu planning. So now I'm going to transition to family style dining. I've heard a lot of great things about family style dining. I've heard, some folks really like to participate in it. And offer that sort of dining to the kids in their program. I know with COVID as of, past, that was a little difficult, and you actually weren't able to engage in that family style dining. So I hope, as things sort of get back to normal, folks are thinking about incorporating family style dining into their program again, because there's really a lot of great things that come out of that. I do want to say that it's not a requirement of CACFP. So you don't have to participate in family style dining, but it can be a really great way to help children's development, right? Those fine motor skills, learning proper etiquette when they're eating with a group of people. It can make mealtime more fun and relaxing, and it might help you reduce your food costs and waste. Anna, I know you do some family style dining in your program. Do you want to share about your experience with it?
Yeah. So we have been doing family style dining for a while. We did, of course, have to take a break during COVID. And we were a little apprehensive to getting back on it because of, well, COVID. And we really have seen it's such a benefit to the kids and to even the staff, having to be able to share that time with the kids, because we sit down and we eat with them, um, together with them. And I think that it's just a good, it gets them away from maybe what they're used to at home. Sometimes children are eating in front of a TV. Sometimes children are not eating with their parents. A lot of kids talk about eating at a kid's table or eating separately from their parents, um, or their families. And I think that it just kind of gives them that family feel of what a family mealtime is like if they're not getting that at home. We have noticed that with family style dining, um, of course, that promotes the use of manners and etiquette, please and thank you. Can you please pass this? Can you please pass that? Even like directional speech, which is, interesting. Can you pass it to the person next to you? Or, like we'll say left or right, and it's giving them that exposure to it, even if it's not something that they're able to necessarily grasp right at the moment. So we've noticed a lot of that communication, the benefits for communication. And we've also noticed a lot of the benefits for the, fine motor skills, hand-eye coordination, and all of that good stuff. But like the biggest thing I would have to say is the kids do love it. They love being able to be independent, and they love being able to pour their own milk. They think that's the coolest thing in the world, because at home, a lot of the time children are not able to pour their own milk. So I think it just gives them that feel of I can do it. And it gives them that excitement. They get very excited to be able to serve themselves. We've noticed that it helps them with portion control. They're taking what they want. They're not taking what's being served to them. So that's something that is beneficial to them. And we've seen the kiddos take something that they may not have just, tried before, because they like to serve themselves. So they might not like mashed potatoes, but they're going to take a little bit because they like to scoop it on their plate. And then because now that it's on their plate, they might actually try it because they see their friend next to them trying it. So it has so many benefits, and I'm really glad that we were able to bring it back after COVID. I know we actually had some apprehension from parents and from families and even some staff, but we were able to kind of discuss with the kids as well that proper etiquette at the table. If we're, sneeze into your pocket, like your elbow, go, wash your hands, tissue, all of that good stuff. So that's another element that it adds, is it's able to teach proper etiquette, not just with the manners, but food etiquette. If you're at a table, you're at a restaurant, proper handling of certain, of meals, of food that people are sharing. So that's things that we've seen that they absolutely love. The kids absolutely love the family style dining. They love eating with their teachers too. That is something that's another, they love to serve themselves, and they love to eat with their teachers, because I just think it makes them feel like they're big, they're big kiddos like that. Like they're like, this is kind of cool. So it really has huge benefits. And we do we love that time, meal time, as it should be loved. Dinner time is a very important time for the family to connect and to, you know, to discuss what's going on in the day. The same thing can go for lunch at preschool. They're able to discuss what they've learned in the morning. They're able to, if it's lunchtime, or they're able to talk about what they're excited about for the day at breakfast. So it's just a good time to communicate and connect as well, with all of the added benefits to it. I do want to touch on that farm to CACFP. I didn't think I knew too much about it. However, we actually have a garden here. And that brings me to the point of, if you garden it with them, they are more likely to eat it. Just like if you cook it with them, they're more likely to eat it. So if they get excited, they get so excited, just, like we're talking about family style dining and serving themselves, little things make kids so happy. So you plant a bell pepper plant that has no blossoms on it, and then they nurture it, and they're watering it, they're watching it grow every single time they go outside, and they are then able to see, there's a fruit on this, there's a bell pepper on this, or there's a cucumber. Wow, look at the way this one grows. A cucumber grows in a vine and a bell pepper grows in a plant, or things like that. And then they are definitely more apt to try the vegetables, which is really cool, because I mean, bell peppers are amazing. That's an easy grow for us. I don't know why. It just grows really, really well for us. And most kids like cucumbers. So those are our favorite things. And it's something that, just like cooking with them, we try to incorporate a cooking activity, gardening and cooking. If you bring those items to the family style dining table, then it's going to just be a full circle connection. They grew it, they cooked it, they ate it, they're getting healthy food. And that's just amazing.
Thanks so much, Anna. I really love how you connected family style dining back to some farm to CACFP efforts. And like we said, it doesn't, farm to CACFP sounds daunting, right? Like you have to have a full scale farm to participate in it. But you can, have potted plants, you can have container gardens, you can start small. And it's really a really great way to get kids to try those new foods. And family style dining is a really great way to provide that support, right? They're eating with their peers. They're watching their program providers model that good behavior of trying new foods. Maybe you don't like it, but you tried it, right? So Kathy, I saw you came off mute. Did you have something to add?
No, I just want to add to exactly what you're saying. Is I think it's also sometimes the impetus for some children to do the trying when that their best buddy, who they love to play with all day long, is sitting right next to them and they just ate that cucumber. I never saw this before, never had this before, but if he likes it, I must like it. When we look at young children, and what I'm also going to say are social connections, it's how many things that they connect with. I'm wearing blue, you're wearing blue. Oh my God, we're best friends, right? And so it's you eat cucumbers, I eat cucumbers. Oh my God, we're totally best friends, right? And so I do look at that mealtime as such a phenomenal opportunity for learning that often we overlook as just a consistent routine that we need to do. But the language, the math, the social emotional connections, the concepts that we can provide. You already said it earlier, Anna, the expansion of language and speaking new words to them during those times. Where does food come from? And it doesn't have to only be about the foods, but that family style atmosphere really just beautifully lends itself to so much other learning opportunity that can happen at that time when you're doing it for breakfast, for lunch, and a snack. You really are honing in 2, 3, I say magical moments throughout the course of the day. Whereas you see it that way, it's very different than, oh my God, it's lunch again. How many kids are going to spill their milk? It's not just the routine. It really is such a phenomenal learning opportunity for everybody.
Thanks so much, Kathy. Yeah, so if you are hesitant about implementing family style dining, there's some tips for you. Give everyone a role, right? Some kids can help set the table. Some kids can help clean up after the meal or the snack is over. Some kids maybe can help cook. But it helps kids take that sense of ownership, right? And create some excitement around sharing a meal together with their peers and their providers. Don't expect perfection either, right? Building these skills takes time. And messes will happen. So have some extra serving utensils and cleaning supplies ready for spills. You can get smaller serving utensils that are great for little hands to really help kids, um, you know, engage in those family style dining practices. And as I said earlier, it's a great way to model trying new foods, right? If you, as the provider, are trying new foods, or if their best friend is trying a new food that they might not have otherwise tried, it's sort of like positive peer pressure. So, and some additional tips for implementing to consider allergies and religious and cultural practices. If it's safer to plate some components beforehand before engaging in the rest of that sort of family style dining, that is fine. And you can implement some aspects of family style dining too. Like with Farm to CACFP, you don't have to do it all at once, and it certainly doesn't have to be perfect at your first attempt. So, practice makes perfect, and things take time. And some additional resources for family style dining if you're looking for more information or different tips on how to implement it. The Department of Health has a helpful webpage about serving family style, and also different ways it adds and contributes positively to learning outcomes. The USDA also has some really great webinars and guidance as well. And then the National CACFP Association has some additional tip sheets and quick learnings about family style dining. And certainly talking with your peers as well, right? Talking with other program providers is a really great way to learn about some things other folks maybe have tried and didn't work, or different ideas about how to get started or take that family style dining to the next level. Now I'm going to transition to talk with you all about the importance of talking and connecting with your local officials. The photo on your screen right now is from one of our other CACFP ambassadors, Jessica Dean. This is her daycare. They hosted Congressman Mark Molinaro back in the summer, and he did a story time with the kids, and they were able to talk with him about the food program and what that looks like in her program, as well as the benefits that come with it. So it's really important to connect with your local representative about this topic. Some representatives are not familiar with the Child and Adult Care Food Program. So it's a great way to introduce representatives and help them really learn and understand what CACFP is and what it looks like for you as providers, and the benefit it provides to the children that you're serving, and the benefit it is for families as well, right? Families are sending their kids to their programs, and you're participating in CACFP. They don't have to work to get their snack or their lunches together that morning. We know in the morning it can be a really busy time to get everyone out of the house. So it's a great support for working families as well. If you are looking to connect with your local representative, they are more likely to be in their home districts during breaks. August is usually an ideal month to connect with them. If you're not sure who your local representative is, you can visit house.gov. You can type in your zip code, and it will show you who your representative is. It will provide you with some contact information to get a hold of their office, and some more information as well. If you are looking to host your representative, when you are able to connect with them and connect with their staffers, make sure you provide a few different dates and times to their staff. Our elected officials are busy, and so having a couple of different dates and times offers some flexibility around those busy schedules. And ideally, they want to see, you want them to see CACFP in action, right? So if you can invite them during a snack or a meal time, that's a great way to involve them, or prepare another activity. I'll share some resources with you in the coming slides, but there are different activity sheets that they can sit down and do together, like drawing their favorite snack or drawing your favorite fruit, just a way for representatives to engage with the kids that ultimately benefit from this program. You'll want to prepare for the visit as well. You'll want to make sure that parents are aware that a representative is going to be coming. They like photo opportunities, so make sure you have some photo release forms for parents to sign if they are allowing their children to be present in those photos. You can also visit your representative's website to better understand their interest areas. Some folks really love CACFP and are huge sponsors of the program. And making sure you might know that if they're coming into their program so you can thank them for their support in the past is a really great way to engage with them. And if they're not familiar with the program, it's a good opportunity for you to educate them about the program and its impacts. So have those talking points ready to explain the impact and the importance. And you can also provide them with some educational materials to take back to their office as well. You'll want to plan ahead too. As I mentioned, August is a good time to invite them to your program, but you'll want to plan about 1 to 3 months in advance. So you'll want to look at connecting with their office maybe in June or July to get some of those dates solidified. And you might need to reach out more than once too. Like I said, we all know we're very busy people. Sometimes an email isn't always the best way to connect with folks. Sometimes it is, and sometimes folks prefer a phone call. So don't be discouraged if you're not able to connect the first time, try again. And then always follow up with your representative after hosting. Thank them for for taking the time to come to your program. And then share your visit on social media and with your peers. You can talk with your peers about their experience with hosting their representatives and maybe get different ideas about different activities or talking points to review the next time you're able to invite a representative to your program. Lots of additional resources if you are looking to connect with your local representative and invite them to your program. The National CACFP Association has a blog and some additional activities to, if you're not able to get a representative there for a mealtime, right, to do something sort of around fruits and veggies or a different activity, whether it's reading to the kids to really get them involved. The National CACFP Forum is another great resource for you all. And then you can learn about and support current CACFP bills. There's a couple of different bills right now that are looking to expand CACFP and reimbursement to a third meal. We know that, there's a lot of kids who aren't just in care for 8 hours a day. They're sometimes there for 10 hours or more. So being able to get that extra reimbursement to serve that third meal is a win-win for everyone. And then also one of the bills has to do with improving the reimbursement rate of the reimbursement levels right now. So, it takes a lot of community and a lot of education and a lot of folks working together to really make improvements to this program. I hear from providers all the time about reasons why they don't want to participate, right? The reimbursement is low and it's too much paperwork. So engaging with your elected officials is a really great way to educate them about the really good benefits of the program, but the different areas that make it more difficult for you as providers to participate in the program. And then you all are trusted messengers, right? You're engaging with the kids in your care, but also you're connecting with their families on a regular basis. So there's might be opportunity for you if you know a family is struggling with making sure they have enough food at home. We have a ton of resources on our Hunger Solutions website to help you connect those families with additional nutrition resources should they need them. You can help spread the word about WIC. We have a website called wichelpny.org. Families can go and there's a chat bot and they can screen discreetly and quickly with a chat bot named Wanda. If they're eligible, families will be connected to their local WIC office to help finish applying. There's other sort of QR postcard type things that you can order and maybe you can put them up on, I don't know if you have a community bulletin board or if you, some programs have backpack programs and they send kiddos home with some extra food supplies over the weekends. You can tuck those into their backpacks. Just making sure that families have a discreet and sort of confidential way to get information that they might not otherwise seek out. And similar to SNAP too, the Hunger Solutions New York manages the Nutrition Outreach and Education Program. So across the entire state, we have we contract with different community-based organizations to provide one-on-one SNAP application assistance. So not only can they help families apply for SNAP assistance, they can also pre-screen families if maybe they're not sure if they're eligible. And they can also help with that warm handoff. Maybe the family is also eligible for WIC. They can connect them with their local WIC office as well. But the NOAA program is really great because they're able to work with folks one-on-one, and they work very directly with their local social services office to make sure that those SNAP applications are being taken care of and everything is okay from application to getting their benefits. And then lastly, summer meals is especially great for families who have kids who maybe aren't in daycare in the summer months. There's a bunch of summer meal sites all over New York State that are, many of them are drop-in sites. And so any kids 18 and under are able to go and get a free summer meal at these summer meal sites. And then lastly, there's a ton of additional resources. A common thing I always hear from providers is that they're looking for new recipes to try. So the Child Nutrition Recipe Box is a really great resource if you're looking to explore some different menu options. All of their recipes you can standardize them to sort of your needs as well. So they're compliant with CACFP or NSLP. So really great resources. And then USDA has a couple of other resources for you all. And then I think another thing that is particularly handy, the New York State Department of Health has a CACFP crediting handbook. So that outlines all sorts of different foods that are creditable in CACFP, or foods that you might want to substitute, meat alternates, things of that nature. So it's a really handy resource for you all as you think about changing your menus or implementing new things. More ways that you can connect with CACFP: subscribe to our newsletter. I put out updates every couple of months, depending on what's going on. I release different information around research and updates. Every year we release information around the reimbursement updates. They're updated usually end of June. And those are set by the USDA. And so we'll make sure all of that is on our webpage. And then I want to encourage you all to share your story as well. We have a form that you can fill out, or feel free to connect with me as well. In my experience, when I am out doing outreach, I can talk to people all day long about the benefits of CACFP. But what really resonates with them is hearing directly from their peers, from other childcare providers who are involved in the program, and helps them really understand the benefits of the program. So consider sharing your story. It's a really great way to connect more folks with CACFP. And lastly, my information is on this slide. But as I mentioned, I will be connecting with Quality Stars New York to share not only the slides and the recording, but all of these additional resources so you're able to review this information at any time. That is all of the information I have for you today. If folks have any questions, feel free to come off mute, or you can type them in the chat box as well.
The only thing that I would also add, Kayla, is have the conversations with your quality improvement specialist. Certainly, I'm also going to add around the farm to ECE and family style dining. If you have any questions around that, that's a great conversation to have with your quality improvement specialist. And they certainly can get you in touch with Kayla also if you need, her contact information. As she said, it's going to be coming, but if you need it before then, reach out to your specialist and they'll get it to you.
Yes, thanks, Kathy. Your quality improvement specialists are really great resources. And, they're going to have more information too about maybe different offerings in your community, right? They're much more familiar with your local communities and resources than I am working at a state level. So connect with your peers, connect with your quality improvement specialists. Yeah, there's a lot of great resources out there to help you really make sure you're getting the most out of this program. Excellent. Any other questions, comments? Very good. Well, if anyone has any other questions afterwards, I'm always here. or reach out to your quality improvement specialist. But thank you all for taking some time to be with me today. I know you're all very busy individuals, so I really appreciate you taking some time to connect. And I hope you have a great rest of your day. Take care.